troopers, and welcome back to my humble abode. So after spending yesterday doing everything that needed to be done, including having fun with the new car that new to me, that my wife bought me for my upcoming 60th birthday, I decided today, no more fiddling around with the car. Today I'm working in the TARBIS, going to get some work on the B-25 done. Today's plan is to go ahead and get the engine nacelles mounted to the wings and the wings decaled. I want the wings to be, and then the cowlings and the props. I want the wings to, I may hold off on the props. I want the wings to essentially be finished before I mount them to the fuselage. I'll probably mount the tail on the fuselage before I mount the wings. Now, there's a reason for this, and you guys have probably had this happen. A lot of times we wait and mount the landing gear, or we'll put the wings on the airplane first, then put the engines on. You wind up fighting with the fit and fiddling, you wind up breaking something else, or smearing the paint, or something. It turns out to be a fight because you're trying to manipulate the entire model. So I'm trying to make this sort of a slowly upscale. Start with the smaller components and work up. The idea being that the more sub-assemblies I can get mounted to the major assemblies before the major assemblies go together, because I've already pre-fitted the wings, they seem to go in without any argument, then hopefully the less trouble I'll have. How many of us have broken a landing gear or something because we had the model, we had the engines on it, we had the gear sticking down, the last thing we were doing was put the wheels on and you just couldn't quite get the right angle in there or whatever, fiddle with it up close and you dropping it or breaking something. It's just, I'm going to see this should work more easily. If I remember the instruction sheet correctly, it says, mount the wings, then mount the engines. I'm kind of like, because nothing ever went wrong doing it that way. So that's the plan. I'm coming up with my own modification of the instructions, my own assembly plan, because that always goes well. But then that got me wondering about something. So, of course, the question of the day. And I'm sure we've all done this. When have you modified the instructions? In other words, said, you know what, I'm not going to do it the way it says in the instruction sheet. I think it'll work better if I do it in this order instead of that order. And how did that turn out for you? Was it a success or a failure? Because I've had some glorious successes and I've had some glorious failures. So this is a fairly straightforward model, so I'm not expecting any nasty surprises. But there have been a couple of times that I've decided to do things a little different than the instructions did. And you wind up with a piece left over, like, where was that supposed to go? Oh, yeah. Hey, we've all been there, done that. So that's the question of the day. When have you altered the instructions or basically done things in your own order instead of the way they were in the instruction sheet, and how did it go? Now, on another subject, I'm getting ready for the live stream tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 0100 Zulu. But next month, in September, I'm actually working the weekends. I have found that although I've enjoyed having the weekends off and working during the week like a regular person, one of the problems with that is it's hard to do things like, trips to the post office or a dentist appointment, because you're off on the weekend when all the dentist offices are closed and things like that. And you're like, it's getting hard just to get a doctor's appointment or something like that in. And a true sign of aging, you and your friends, used to talk about, cool cars and, cute girls. And now it's more like you start comparing your ailments and, I've got an eye in on your doctor's appointments and see when you can line your schedule up. But welcome to getting older, guys? It is. Jack Palance said in that old TV commercial, I think it might have been for AARP, was like, getting old, it ain't for sissies. So one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight is 1/72nd scale armor. Models that are model tanks and armor vehicles in 1/72nd scale, because something that happened as I was doing a little snooping around, I had thought about doing a segment on maybe some kind of unusual kits like the old Anheuser-Busch Clydesdale team kit that came out years ago, which I think I remember seeing on the shelf. When I was doing that, I stumbled onto this kit of an M60 by AMT. We're gonna talk about this in more detail tonight. And it reminded me that at first I was thinking, I didn't think AMT made any armor models, and then I realized, that's AMT Earl, and Earl had a big impact. And I went to scale mates, and sure enough, turns out they're actually originally Eschi kits. and AMT Ertl wanted to expand the product line. Okay, well, it makes sense. They even made one of the few kits of the M113, but then I noticed, oh, wait a minute, these kits are in 1/72nd scale. Now, there's a whole story behind 1/72nd scale armor, where I'm concerned, and I'll go into detail about this tonight, but just tell me right now, have any of you guys ever, and I know some of you have because they've been in the viewers' builds, but have any of you guys built 1/72nd scale armor? In particular, the M3 Stuart, because that's what my story is going to be about tonight, and I've got to make a note about that. I'm going to make a note, John. I'm going to make a note. And guys, for those who don't know, when I say I'm going to make a note, John, John Kidd over at Scale Model Garage had been, reminding me, you have these great ideas, write it down because you're going to forget, which is absolutely what I do. Have a great idea and then I forget it. So he's got me in the habit of scribbling notes down. That's helped a lot with trying to organize my, come up with things to talk about and organize my my thoughts. Also reminds me to do a little research, because a lot of times you'll see factoids across here, because like yesterday's video was talking about the Pucara and the Black Buck operations done in the Falklands War. And it said that I think Pucara was an indigenous Argentine design. And of course I was videotaping, recording live because I was doing an unboxing. So I'm doing that completely from memory. Well, it turned out I was right, but I had to, it's like, well, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not, because I'm not sure. When I'm not sure, I'm not sure, and I say I'm not sure. I'm not half the BS artist I used to be. You can't get away with being a BS artist anymore because of Google. And so, but when I go out and confirm that it's right, I just go, okay, I stick a quick factoid up there. And just trying to keep the record straight here, people. So, the nice thing with the live stream is I like to try and do the research in advance, and if I make notes and get this stuff scripted, it doesn't take much thanks to the interweb, and it doesn't take that long to get your facts straight ahead of time. Sometimes, of course, even Google is wrong. It may be our Lord and High Master and, on its way to dominating the universe, but it still makes mistakes. Because it is touched by human hands. So, today, the plan is to work on the B-25 and get ready for the live stream. I'm not really planning to take the car out today because, the car that my wife bought me for my upcoming 60th birthday. Did I marry well or what, guys? She was joking, saying this is going to be her Sully moment. There's a really funny comedian named Billy Gardell. And he did a show, one of his stand-up comedian shows. He talks about, can you imagine life with Sully from the Miracle on the Hudson? And like, hey, Sully, it's time to get his wife says, Sully, it's time to take out the trash. And he's like, take out the trash? Hey, did I ever tell you about the time I landed a plane on the Hudson? And so for the rest of my life, I'm going to be hearing about, do you remember the time I bought you a convertible for your birthday? And I'm like, worth it. So that's really the plan for today. I need to go out and get the air conditioner flipped on so that the TARBIS can pre-cool, and I don't plan to finish it today because I have all those other models and spacing it out, but I will make I would like to make some significant progress. One thing, and you know what, I need to clear coat those decals on it because they're old decals, and I've learned that when you're dealing with old decals, a couple of shots of clear coat can often make a lot of problems go away. I know some people use the restorative film. I've used that also, usually on the really, really old ones, and it basically puts a new film on there, but then you have to cut them down around the edge because it just becomes one big sheet of film at that point. With the clear coat, you don't normally have that problem, but and what is it, the old saying, if bacon can't save it, it can't be saved. Well, if clear coat can't save it, probably beyond redemption. Time to stick it in the copier and start making a shiny new laser printed decal sheet copy or something like that, which I've done many a time with considerable success, except when they have clear, because, except if you have white. Okay, let me back up. Printers do not print in white. So if you need white, you need to use white paper. If you need clear, you need to use clear. The problem with white is then you don't have any actual clear parts. So you have to trim right around the edge and everything. And then a lot of times a little bit of white edge will still show. Some people go with a marker with a little paint just to clean the edge up, and that white paper can be kind of thick. So making decals, your own decals, is great, but covering those edges can be a little bit of an art. So that's what I have for right now. I got to go, like I say, get started getting ready for the live stream. If you guys have something particular you'd like to talk about tonight, maybe you should leave it in the comment section, because I've got a few things to talk about, but basically I think it's going to be just more of a rant and a ramble. These live streams seem to flow a little bit better. It's nice to have a few things to talk about to kick off with, but they just seem to flow a little bit better when you guys just start saying, hey, what about this, what about that? But we are going to talk about 1/72 scale armor a little bit, and perhaps making decals and a few other little bits and bobs, and then we'll just go wherever it takes us. So guys, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. We'll hopefully see you at the live stream, 9 p.m. East Coast, and that's 0100 Zulu, and as always, model on. Well, good morning, glue troopers on both sides of the world. I'm making myself dizzy. Okay, over. Guys, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, and as always, goes over there. Try that again. Model on. Are we done yet?